Raymond Burr carried himself with a gravity that was impossible to ignore, both on screen and in life. Known for his commanding presence and deliberate manner, he was not a man who forgot easily. Burr believed deeply in loyalty, professionalism, and respect, and when he felt those values were compromised, he remembered it. This long memory has often been mischaracterized as bitterness, but those close to him described it instead as emotional self-protection. He lived in an industry built on reinvention, yet Burr was anchored by consistency. He did not forgive carelessness easily, nor did he dismiss personal slights as trivial. That seriousness shaped his performances and his relationships alike. Burr's legacy, therefore, is not one of anger, but of a man who valued integrity and carried the weight of his experiences with him until the end. Early life shaped by disruption. Raymond William Stacey Burr was born on May 21, 1917, in New Westminster, British Columbia, the eldest of 3 children. His parents' divorce during his childhood uprooted the family and led to frequent moves, ultimately bringing them to California. These early disruptions forced Burr to adapt quickly, fostering resilience but also emotional reserve. He learned early that stability was fragile and trust had to be earned. Educated at San Rafael Military Academy and later attending Stanford and UC Berkeley intermittently, Burr's academic path was uneven, reflecting his search for identity. His eventual training at the Pasadena Playhouse provided not just acting instruction, but structure and purpose. There, he developed the vocal control and emotional restraint that would define his career. The instability of his youth shaped a man who valued control, reliability, and consistency above all else. Becoming Hollywood's reluctant villain. Burr entered Hollywood during the golden age of film noir, and his imposing build and penetrating gaze quickly led to villainous roles. Films like Pitfall, Raw Deal, and Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window showcased his ability to convey menace with minimal dialogue. Yet Burr never viewed these characters as simple antagonists. He approached each role psychologically, grounding even villains in human motivation. While typecasting brought steady work, it also limited how the industry perceived him. Burr did not complain publicly, but he never forgot the constraints placed upon him. Rather than resentment, he responded with discipline, refining his craft and waiting patiently. Directors eventually recognized that his authority could convey moral strength as effectively as threat. This transition would redefine his career and reveal the depth that had always been present beneath the surface. Perry Mason and moral authority. In 1957, Raymond Burr's career transformed with Perry Mason, a role that inverted his earlier screen image. As the brilliant defense attorney, Burr embodied moral certainty, compassion, and intellectual dominance. The role demanded precision, stamina, and emotional restraint, qualities Burr delivered effortlessly across 9 seasons and 271 episodes. His Mason was firm but humane, authoritative yet empathetic. Audiences trusted him, and that trust turned the series into a cultural institution. Burr won 2 Emmy Awards for the role, but more importantly, he earned lasting credibility. He took the responsibility seriously, insisting on accuracy and dignity in the courtroom portrayal. Burr did not tolerate carelessness on set, which some mistook for coldness. In truth, he believed the role mattered, and he protected it fiercely out of respect for viewers and the law it represented. Redefining strength in Ironside. After Perry Mason, Burr again challenged expectations by starring in Ironside, portraying a paralyzed police chief who solved crimes using intellect rather than physical force. The role was groundbreaking, offering one of television's earliest serious portrayals of a disabled lead character. Burr approached the role with immense care, refusing sentimentality and insisting on realism. He wanted Ironside to be respected, not pitied. This insistence reflected Burr's personal philosophy. Adversity should not diminish authority. The show expanded his legacy and further demonstrated his commitment to meaningful representation. Burr's firmness on set came from the same place. It was about standards, not ego. He remembered those who treated the work lightly, but he also remained fiercely loyal to collaborators who shared his seriousness. His strength lay in consistency, not confrontation. Private life and guarded relationships. Burr's personal life was marked by privacy and discretion. His brief marriage to actress Isabella Ward ended quietly, and he rarely spoke of it publicly. Later, he found lasting companionship with Robert Benevides, a relationship built on mutual respect and shared values. Together, they cultivated a life away from Hollywood's noise, investing in orchid farms and vineyards. Burr cherished this privacy and was deeply protective of it. When boundaries were crossed, he did not forget. To some, this appeared unforgiving, but to Burr it was necessary. Trust, once broken, was not easily restored. He believed emotional honesty required limits, and he enforced them firmly. Those within his inner circle described him as generous, loyal, and deeply committed. His guardedness was not cruelty, but caution shaped by experience. Professional discipline, not pettiness. Stories of Burr's firmness with colleagues have often been exaggerated into tales of grudges. In reality, Burr demanded professionalism and remembered lapses. He believed that success carried responsibility, and he held himself and others to high standards. On long-running productions like Perry Mason, consistency mattered, and Burr resisted anything that threatened it. While tensions inevitably arose, they were rooted in work ethic rather than personal animosity. Burr was not outwardly expressive, which sometimes led to misunderstandings. He did not seek reconciliation through public gestures, preferring quiet distance instead. This approach could feel cold, but it was not vindictive. Burr simply believed that actions revealed character, and he adjusted his trust accordingly. His memory was long, but it was guided by principle, not spite. A complicated relationship with fame. Despite immense popularity, Burr maintained a cautious relationship with Hollywood itself. Early career disappointments and later media scrutiny taught him that public favor was unreliable. He respected the audience but distrusted the industry's machinery. Burr rarely courted publicity and avoided unnecessary interviews, preferring work to words. Critics who focused on his appearance or speculated about his private life lost his goodwill permanently. He did not argue or retaliate, he simply disengaged. This withdrawal has been mistaken for bitterness, but it was self-preservation. Burr understood that fame could erode dignity if allowed too much access. By keeping emotional distance, he preserved control over his narrative. His silence was not resentment, it was restraint, a conscious choice to protect what mattered most to him. Dedication. Until the final years, even as illness weakened him, Burr's commitment to his craft never wavered. Diagnosed with kidney cancer, he continued filming Perry Mason television movies, often working through visible pain. He believed in honoring commitments and never wanted audiences to feel abandoned. Those final performances carried added gravity, shaped by physical limitation and emotional depth. Burr did not dwell on past conflicts during this time, but neither did he rewrite history. He accepted life as it was, without revision. Those closest to him described clarity rather than anger in his final years. He focused on work, legacy, and the people he trusted. His long memory remained, but it softened into reflection rather than grievance. Burr faced the end with the same discipline that had defined his life, a legacy beyond labels. Raymond Burr passed away on September 12, 1993, at the age of 76, leaving behind an enduring legacy of authority, dignity, and substance. His characters shaped television history, but his personal code shaped the man. He was not defined by grudges, but by boundaries. He valued loyalty, remembered lessons, and refused to trivialize emotional truth. Burr's generosity, philanthropy, and quiet mentorship often went unnoticed because he never advertised them. Today, Perry Mason and Ironside continue to resonate because they reflect values Burr lived by: fairness, discipline, and respect. His life reminds us that strength is not always warm, and forgiveness is not always immediate. Sometimes integrity means remembering and choosing carefully who deserves to remain close.